Hello, my friends. Today in our studio, amazing guest. She's Leila Kanzler. She's business strategist, and she helps women entrepreneurs not just to think small, but think big, become CEOs of their companies, really scale their business with team, with new ideas, with understanding how to simplify business and make it more effective. So I'm absolutely thrilled and excited to hear more about her systems and ideas, which she's going to share with us today. Continue. Hi, Leila.
Hello, thank you, Eve, for having me here.
Amazing to have you here. So, you see, we will start a little bit from the Visibility Gym Challenge, and you were the first participant. And that's amazing because that was one of the most exciting challenge for me. That was all new and stuff like that. I want to ask you quickly just about your experience and how video impacted your business. I know that you were not shy about video and you were quite experienced, but what I want to know, did video actually help you to scale your business and to get more clients?
Yes, thank you. Actually, yes, you're right. Like I was not actually, struggling to get on camera, right? So it's a different thing to be able to show up and just talk than what it is to actually communicate with the people that are watching. I've been, confident enough to be able to talk about every topic, of course, in regards to my expertise. However, connecting with people and for them to actually listen and pay attention, I think that was a big thing that I learned, especially from you during the challenge. I remember actually like sharing pieces of me and my story, and I remember people were like engaged, and they were like, "Wow, I did that," or "I remember when I was experiencing this," or "I connected with what you were saying," which was a big thing for me. I was not, of course, able to learn how to show up on camera from anybody before. I think you were the first person actually teaching me how to show up confidently, but at the same time being able to communicate with people. So it was an amazing experience, by the way. It was.
Awesome. So how did that impacted your business? Do you think it helped you with your courses, with your program somehow?
Totally. I was actually again surprised by the response from different people, because for the longest time I was, like I said, able to show up on camera and talk about a topic, but like understanding how to actually um, translate. Let's actually use that word. Translate what I wanted to say in a way that people would, first of all, um, pay attention. Second of all, relate to. I think that relatability, is that a word? It's what one of the things that I actually learned through your challenge, because um, again, with my background, in engineering and coming from corporate, you are supposed to be talking like very structured. You know what I'm saying? Like very what's the word? Kind of like a robot. Like very what's the word I'm looking for here? The proper, right? Proper.
Dog style.
That's the word. Which, when you're actually talking to people, like real people, outside of corporate, especially here online, it makes a big different impact. And I really didn't know how to do that from the minute that I started sharing pieces about me, about my story, to that was just not possible back in my engineering years. I feel like that was a big thing. And now to this day, I've been actually having people that message me right after a video, say, "Hey, uh, that was me," or "Hey, I love that you're this or that you're that," or like pieces of my personal journey per se that are now like sprinkled in every single piece of content that I share. That made a big difference for me. And that's of course something that I learned in during the challenge. But the fact that now I feel more human, it's a big piece. And that, of course, it's something I learned through the challenge. And I guess opening the door to conversations after the video, it's what's actually helping me per se, particularly in my business, to connect with more people directly. So that is one piece that I can tell you that has been helping me in terms of like creating more conversations. Of course, that conversations most likely take people to a sale, or not just to actually sell, but to actually talk to people in a more private, but in a more deep conversation. And for me, that is a big piece of what I do, because it's not just about showing up and teaching you, right? It's not just about showing up and making an offer. It's about developing that relationship that either might take you to become my client, or that might actually open the door for you to promote my services or talk about me with somebody else. But everything because it got started with that conversation, or that relationship we started building from the minute that I show up on camera to the next step, which is having a conversation, and then it grows from there.
Fantastic. I love this story. I love the pieces of your story actually attracting your ideal clients. And about that, I want to ask you, and I think that our viewers will be absolutely thrilled because I know that you are helping, I can say, established coaches or established experts, established entrepreneurs, because they are already in the stage when they are moving their business from 6 figures to 7 figures and more, and they are ready to actually scale, to work with their teams. So your clients are not just common people, right? So I really want to know exactly how you can describe your business. What exactly do you do?
Yes, thank you. So I mainly work with women entrepreneurs that are actually trying or actually growing their business at the moment, but they actually are wanting to scale it. I happen to believe there is a big difference between growing and scaling. And at the time in which they are already up and running, working with clients, they are starting to build a team, they become the bottleneck of their business because now they are pulled into too many directions. They are, of course, trying to build and grow an audience. So they have that need, of course, to show up and represent their business. They also have existing clients and they have to attend to the demands of their clients. And also they are building or forming a team. So now it's like the attention that once was for you to show up for your leads and your clients. Now it's growing into multiple people needing you, and we at some point become the bottleneck because we are again the central point. Like it's like the business depends on us, and when the excitement and the like all the energy that we put into actually starting our business, now it becomes a little heavy because we have to attend to everybody needing us, right? So there are many different things that we can actually do there, which is starting to add pieces or tools that are going to help us so that the business does not depend necessarily on us. But here's the struggle. A lot of my people, a lot of my ideal clients are struggling with letting go of that. They want to be part of every single thing. They want to be there like the way they did it when they started, when the excitement of creating and building and connecting with people, it is not really easy just to let go of that. And then on the other side, it's like now you have a different set of needs in your business. So it's really hard for you to sustain it. I do work with a lot of people that are especially family centered, right? Like their family is so important for them. But at the same time that they are growing their business, and now that the business is needing more of them, they are compromising their family or the quality time, right? For their own for their own benefit as well, but they don't have that on and off button that tells you, you're now the CEO of the company and now you're a mom. So I feel like those things are overlapping and they start to struggle because now they are, starting to get drained. Now they are starting, to feel more tired. They are starting to, like miss deadlines, and things are actually starting to happen in their business, which it can totally be prevented by having all this little, pieces in place that are going to help you to make everything happen without, of course, having to compromise our values or our well-being in order for us to help, or to attend to everything that's happening in the business. So another thing that we do there is, first of all, if they do have at this particular time, they do have a support team, okay, or they are starting to add a few people to the actual business, but they are not. First of all, they are not good at delegating, So then we hire someone to come and help us, but it is not really easy for us to communicate what is it that we want. In many cases, people are, or my clients, are struggling to let go of that, of that control. But another struggle is to actually be able to find the right people to work with you. That on its own, I believe it's a big, it's a big struggle that a lot of people are facing, especially in the online world, because we as an entrepreneurs are showing up and doing the work, and sometimes we're working at night and on the weekends and all that. Then we now are expecting our team to do the same. And it's not really easy to be able to find, first of all, that unicorn that is going to be just like you, that is going to show up and that's going to be committed the same way that you are. But so of course it's possible. Like if you have the right systems in place to hire, and not just hire, but retain the right people, then it is possible. I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying here is that there is a struggle in terms of letting go of the work, and then transferring that to somebody else, and trusting that somebody else is going to do the work the way you would do it, at the time that you would do it, and that is going to meet your expectations. I think a lot of our people are struggling with that in delegation. Again, it's a big piece of the struggles we help my clients overcome by, of course, learning to trust the team, developing them, and being able to communicate with them so that they, of course, meet our expectations. And that on its own, again, it's just one big, let's call it system that I help them create.
That sounds really interesting. So what I really want to know, we were talking about systems, right? And you are a business strategist and you are all about systems, because I think that ever since I met you, we were talking about systems and you were so excited about that. It's something which you love so much. And I know that you have absolutely unique and interesting system for your business. So share with us more with probably a few tips and ideas which can help other entrepreneurs to run their business or prepare their business to actually scale their business more effectively, even before they start working with you.
Yes. So I think over the past, few years, especially since I've been doing this online, I've been helping a lot of women, to grow and scale their businesses. And I've been actually finding or looking actually for this framework that would kind of like cover all the pieces that I've been actually doing for different people before. And now I have my SOS framework. The SOS framework started because a lot of people come to me and then they ask for help, but honestly sometimes they don't even know what type of help they need. So I call it, here's what I hear often. I just want someone that can come and help me figure out what is needed, in order for me to, you know, continue to grow my business, but it's not so heavy that I can't do it. So the SOS framework stands for the three big pieces in the business, or the three big phases of the business, that are going to take you from where you are right now, which is, probably in the middle of chaos, all the way down to actually scaling or strategically scaling your business. So it stands for simplify, optimize, and then scale. Okay, those are the three big phases that we have to go through in order to take you again from where you are right now to where you want to go, which is, scaling your business. So in the first portion here, we focus on simplifying a lot of the things you are already doing in your business, right? At this particular time, we're probably struggling with, again, different areas in terms of, again, starting to hire people, how to communicate with them. Also, we may or may not be struggling with like different products, like different services that we're offering to our clients. And also, it is a little bit of there is a little bit of trouble when it comes to the processes that we have in your business, right? So we are going to simplify those three big pieces, which is, the product, the people, and the processes. And we focus there, of course, on what simplification means is just making things simpler. And I know it sounds easy, but it requires a little bit of work to be honest. And this is something that I do help them, because not everybody has that mentality of making things easier or simpler. And I do believe that the more and more you work on that, the better results you're going to have. Then we move on to the optimization part, which is mainly about making the best out of the resources that we have, from creating the standardization, or this is what we call systems, right? That are going to help us, of course, like follow a recipe as to this is the way we do A, this is the way we do B, this is the way we do C. You know what I'm saying? So because a lot of people do not understand completely what a system is, I'm going to use the word recipe, that way people will kind of follow what I'm saying here. So we start creating recipes for us to identify the best way to do every single piece that needs to get done in the business, so that if we hire people, they know exactly how to do ABC, right? So we, of course, are going to also need the strategy. And the strategy here is not just for selling an offer or selling a product. There are different strategies that we have to implement, from learning how to make the best use of our time. And what I mean by this is not just my time as the CEO of the company. I mean the actual time, that every person is going to invest in your business, whether they are contractors, subcontractors, or part of the team. We also have to look into making the best out of those resources, right? So the strategy that we're going to implement is, of course, to keep the everybody on the same page, making the best use of our time. We're also going to be looking into a system that is going to help us communicate goals, the vision, the what's coming, and in a way that everybody understands what is actually supposed to happen. There are other strategies that we're going to, of course, touch in there, but those are the main ones. And then as part of the optimization, we have to focus on streamlining every single thing that's happening in the business. And by this, I mean that we are going to have to pay attention to, cost, how much it's actually costing us to build and sustain the business, right? How much, and also besides cost, we're actually going to be looking into quality, which is this is the quality of the products or the services that we're delivering, the quality in terms of how we do what we do. We are also going to be paying attention to I like to call it safety, but this is more in terms of providing our team mainly, and actually not just our team, but let's just refer this to people, because this can actually apply to our clients as well. Providing the safety, meaning that is this is the they are the right place. They feel supported. They feel like they made the right decision to either invest in our services or to actually invest their time and their energy when of course they are part of the team, right? So there are other factors as well that we're going to be looking to streamline, but I think that covers the main concept there. So optimizing the resources that we have in our business, it's going to be key for a lot of people, because I've been seeing this more than often, and it's a little scary that there are people out there saying, yeah, so grow your business, scale your business, and then you have to pay, and then you start paying, right? Like, and people start throwing money at the problems here, because that is the only way for us to grow the business, right? But for me, it's a little different in terms of not just spending the money, but making the best use of the money that we have available and keeping more of the money that we make. To me, that on its own, it's a big piece. So optimizing all those resources that we have available are going to help you, yes, create more money in the future, but also make the best of what you already have and keeping more of the money that you're making. And the last part, of course, of my framework is to scale. Now, when we are ready to start scaling, and by scaling, I mean that you're going to, yes, start making more money, but you're going to have to be spending less of your resources. Okay. This is a big difference of my framework based on what other people are showing out there. Because in this particular case, we're going to be looking at the first piece of that phase, in the scaling phase, is we're going to be analyzing, we're going to be reviewing the data, we're going to be, measuring the everything we're doing, from how much time we're investing to how much we're paying, to how much it's costing us, what's the return on each of the investments we're making. So all these metrics are going to be key here for us to be able to prepare us to scale the business. The next part here to scale, of course, is to automate. We have to automate as much as possible. We need to allow tools, to let us do the heavy lifting. There are a lot of people that are against that. They don't want to learn a new thing. They don't want to open the door to a new software. They might or may not be intimidated by it, but automation is going to help us here to, again, be able to prepare the business to scale. And then the last part of this is to actually accelerate that growth. Okay. Now that we have all the systems in place, now that we have all the people, the right people, of course, in place, then we are going to be able to move super fast. And believe it or not, there comes a point in time where we get scared by that. We get scared by the growth. We get scared by, what if everything we build now we breaks or something. Like we live in this constant worry that things might fall apart. So that is exactly the reason behind my concept here of having to accelerate growth, where we're not going to think about it. We're going to go with everything we have, and then we're going to jump to the next level or income level here, in a way that it doesn't, we don't prolong, I guess, that time, and we make things, of course, faster, in a way that we know exactly where we're going. We're ready to get there. It's just a matter of building that momentum to get us there. So that is my actual framework, the SOS framework: simplify, optimize, and scale. And I've been actually applying all of these concepts, all of these pieces of my framework with multiple businesses. And I'm really confident and excited about it. So thank you for letting me share that here.
It's actually very interesting, but I want to know more about the vision, which you slightly touch. And I know that your business is called Level Up Your Vision. So it's really interesting. I see that you actually focus on this part a lot. So, how vision can help these entrepreneurs to implement the systems and finally win and move towards the new goals, new income levels, and stuff like this? Share more about that.
After working with multiple people, there's one thing I identified that a lot of people lack, and a lot of people actually have that vision, but they don't know how to make it happen. Okay, so we're playing here with two different scenarios, right? The first one is where we start building a business, but we don't know where we're going. In the other one, in which we have a vision for what the business is, but we don't know how to get there. Okay. So if you ask me, the reason why I pay, or the reason why I make a big emphasis in terms of that vision, is because that is what's going to make this, that's what's going to bring you the success, that you're after. Now, one thing I want to mention, and I'll be happy to explain the reason behind vision, of course. But one thing I can actually explain here is that it's not just about having a vision; it's also about being able to communicate it in a way that everybody understands it, like everybody understands that vision. Okay, so we are, of course, working with people that they the success almost like hit them in the face. Like the ones that were able to find the right product to offer, and they are able to make sales, and then you know what I'm saying, like they are able to grow that, and then all of a sudden it's like they cannot even like keep up with the demand from their market. They do actually, they were not expecting, per se. They were not prepared for that growth to happen so fast. So in that particular scenario, the person there needs to spend a little bit of time, or more than a little, to build a vision as to where the business should go. You know, and that on its own, it's a big struggle, because a lot of people don't know how. They are like, okay, I have a business. Yes, I'm making money, but now what? So that's when people like me come in place, in terms of, okay, let's start actually breaking it down in a way that we are able to make sense of how we can actually scale your business, how we can actually grow your business, because scaling doesn't happen just right after, right? um, in a way that we can actually go from moving you out of the solopreneur space, in which you were the only one doing this, and now into building a company with people, like we mentioned before, the people and the processes, um, and now you are building that company, and then you are actually stepping up to the plate as the CEO of the company, right? So when before it was just you providing a service, now you are the face of the company, or the one leading that company. And if you do not have that vision in place, if you do not have um, that clarity as to where you're going, well, how are we going to get you there, right? That's easy. Now, on the other side, I am actually working with, especially with women, right? Like women that they have this idea. They are like, I want to build a business that can do this. I want to, create this. I want to transform that. They know exactly what that looks like. They have that vision on their head, and or their brain, and they want it by tomorrow. you know, they want everything probably like yesterday, and they are struggling to make it happen, because they don't even know how to take the first next few steps. And I know that sounds like crazy to believe, because it's like, oh, I have a vision, right? But it's like building a house. You know exactly what you wanted, the colors, and you can see it almost in your face, in your brain. But what do you do first? you know and then that is when again, like people like me come in place to actually take that vision and start building all the little pieces, or the support systems to make that vision happen. So even when we are talking about two different scenarios here, whether the first one is that you have a product and now you need to turn that into a company, or you have that vision but you don't know how to build that company, there are different steps, of course, that can be put in place there to help one or the other, which they are both covered by my SOS framework. Yes, but if we lack the vision per se, and we lack to communicate that vision, then we are not successful to the level that we want. And I believe that my idea behind that vision is because it's always evolving, right? Like that vision is always evolving and it's always changing. And we actually have to be the ones changing to make that vision happen. So at the time when this level up your vision was born, is because I was actually struggling as a part of a team, as an example, to work with a client of mine, as an example, that where we had that success, but we were lacking vision. So we didn't know where to go next. So the team was struggling because every move, it's like now that people were going into different directions. And what we were forming, which was great, which was successful, was actually at the same time falling apart. And what I want to prevent, everybody else, or prevent as much as possible, is that the fact that companies or services, right, stop producing because they lack that vision. So one way or another, I feel like it's worth it to spend time, money, energy into clarifying that vision for us to be able to impact more people. And by people, of course, I mean not just ourselves, but I mean our clients and also our team. So it's like, the whole ecosystem here is impacted by those, uh, by the people that is actually able to create a vision, communicate that vision, and make that vision happen in a way that everybody is actually benefiting from that.
It's absolutely amazing to know this much about this behind the scenes in the business, because I know that many people have no idea how to implement systems in the business. And though they want to move from 6 figures to 7 figures and they want to build their brands, they want to scale their business, they're not sure where to start and how to move with that. And that's really interesting insights that you gave us today. I'm absolutely excited about that. So, how people can connect with you.
Yes, thank you. So the easiest way is to actually go to my site. So in my website, you're going to find information as to how to communicate with me or my team. And of course, you're going to learn a little bit more about what I do in there. And you can, of course, go and visit www.levelupyourvision.com. And we'll, again, provide you there with the tools that we have available at the time. And if you just want to talk, of course, there is an opportunity there. So reach out. Of course, I'll be more than happy to get in touch with you.
Fantastic. It's pleasure to know that people can actually talk to you and to your team. I absolutely excited about this. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so exciting. And I love it. And thank you for the opportunity. I think great things are actually going to be created after this.